Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. It's just a few minutes after 7 a.m. It's Friday, September the 20th. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. I, of course, am Mitch. Drink it if you got it. As I often do, I will quote my good friend Rodney Dangerfield when I say, I was in rough shape yesterday, but I'm okay now. And one of the reasons that I'm okay now is I had the privilege and the absolutely fabulous time of getting together with all of my friends in the private community live stream last night on this channel. And we had between 6 and 7 people in the actual panel with us in little windows. It's like being in the same room. And so many of you just chatting up a storm in the chat. It's hard to describe how close this group has become. What I want to do, and I have to make sure it's okay with everybody first, I would really, one Thursday night, love to just open this whole thing up to the public, to watch, not to participate in, but to watch. I would love for people to see what they were missing. And I'm not trying to sell you memberships. I don't care. But after what we feel when we all get together, we're becoming great friends, and it's something so many people today are missing out on, especially those of us who are getting older and maybe our circle of friends has died off like mine has. I love those Thursday nights. I look forward to them. They are the highlight of my YouTube adventure. Close on the heels are these morning vlogs that I'm doing. Let me stop here and clear up maybe a misconception about what my little morning coffee videos are supposed to be or not supposed to be. And I tell you this because, and this is not very frequently, but I do read the comments, and I read the comments because I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're thinking because I need to be a focus group of one man and decide if I'm going in the right direction here. I'm making the point I'm getting across to people. What I never intended when I started this carnivore YouTube adventure to become a personality. I want it to be more like just a friendly old professor who's teaching you stuff. But I can't help it. I have what has been called an eccentric personality, and that shows no matter what I do. And so many of the people who follow me just like me. And not only do they like me because I give them ideas and I help them with their carnivore, but they like me because of what I know about other things too, and they want to hear about those things. So I started this Monday morning thing is basically more along the lines of the old fireside chat philosophy, rambling about different thoughts and different things that I'm interested in and that you might be interested in, and generally narrowing it down before the end of this little talk and focusing on one particular point and kind of taking that out and gone down that rabbit hole for a while. And that's what I do. And I know that some people, most people, love these things who watch them. It's not all that popular. I don't get huge numbers of views, but it's pretty consistent. And I enjoy doing them. I just enjoy getting out here, drinking a cup of coffee at the crack of dawn, and sharing some of my thoughts. Yesterday, I get a couple of comments after I brushed up against politics, because it's at the forefront in everybody's mind now. It is the single most important thing, maybe the most important decision of our lives coming up. You can't avoid it. I can't just be telling you how to make meatballs with all of this stuff going on. I live in this world too. These things are going to affect me, and they're also going to affect our diet in ways you can't imagine. If we make a huge mistake, we might be missing the opportunity to actually fix something. So I don't think it's too off the reservation to talk about those things a little bit, but I got chastised. I'm leaving. I tune into your channel to hear about nutrition, not that other stuff. You need to stay focused. Your channel is about nutrition, basically. How dare you talk about something else? Who the hell are these people? Where do they get the balls? Where do they get the balls to tell me or any other human being what to do? They have one choice. Go away. Just ignore it if you don't like it. Why do they continually need to tell me what I'm doing wrong and how offended and unhappy they are? I don't give a shit about you and your happiness there, princess. Anyway, boy, that felt good. That just felt good to do that. I love to do that because that's what we feel on the inside when we see absurdity. We're taught, hold it in. Don't let it out. People won't like you. Don't rant. Don't complain. Don't point out absurdity. Just keep it to yourself. Not me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you don't want me pointing out your absurdities, then don't be absurd. Not in a public forum for the world to see. Don't criticize me if you don't like me. Just go away. Ignore me. Ignore me. There's no government mandate like vaccines that you watch my podcast every morning. And if you're benefiting from the nutritional information that I talk about, if you're benefiting from my methods, if you're benefiting from my insights, don't write me a comment chastising me about the things I do. Buy me a goddamn coffee and say thank you. God, that felt good too. That felt so good that I think it's time I might even get on to the topic of the day, which I decided I wanted to talk about. But I always want to talk about just things in general, my experiences, what it's like to do this, to try to help people, who want to keep finding fault with you. And again, keep in mind, 99% of you watching here, 99% of you that enjoy what I do, tune in to spend the morning with me. It's like going over a friend's house for coffee, I hope. That's the purpose of this. That's why I do it. Why else do you think I'd come out here, sit on my porch? Well, there is one other reason. And you'll just excuse me while I light my cigar. I think this might be my favorite time of the day. Crack of dawn. New day, a lot of promise. I don't know generally what I'm even going to do during the day. I don't plan ahead. I don't plan anything ahead anymore. I honestly take life one day at a time. I don't plan what I'm going to say. 10 minutes before, well, a minute before I pushed the record button on this camera, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I knew I was going to tell you, drink it if you got it. After that, I was winging it. I don't make plans to do any. I don't even make plans to go shopping. When I go shopping, it's spontaneous. It's, oh shit, I'm out of this. I got to go shopping. Oh hell, need to put gas in the car. That's how I live now. No pressure, no schedules. It's a wonderful way to live, and fortunately, I can do that. I have a idea of a video. I actually filmed it yesterday, and after I filmed it, I decided to can it. And for those of you who understand film and cinematography, you know that film used to come in cans, and the cans are usually stored in a vault. And a lot of times when they use the term, I decided to can it, it means it's no good. We're never going to release it. Put it in a can, put it in the vault. And maybe someday we'll go back to it for some reason, but probably not. And the reason I decided to can it is because, whether you know it or not, I think most of you do, I bought a hunk of pork belly the other day, and I had never made pork belly. I've seen all these people claiming these fabulous recipes. The best thing I ever ate. I started researching it after I bought this piece of pork belly because Sam's just started selling it. And I said, well, you know, I love bacon. Sounds great. So maybe this would be like just big chunks of bacon. A lot of fat on pork belly, but bacon fat tastes great when it gets fried and crisped up. And that I think is the key. So obviously, to me, you got to crisp it up. And the pork belly cubes that I'd seen were kind of what I thought the bites were the most appealing. So I researched and found 5 or 10 different recipes, and every one of them called for, just like barbecue, use this rub, that sugar, cure it first, dry brine it first. You know what I'm saying? That's not my style. My style in cooking for carnivore is keep it simple as hell. Basically, food, fire, salt, eat. It's, and then don't get anything too dirty. You know, just wipe out your frying pan. That's the beauty of it. And have one dish to wash when you're done, and a fork maybe. And I strive for that because I know that if it gets too complicated, involves too many steps, gets too dirty, and I got to stand in front of the sink for a half an hour because I really don't ever have enough to do a whole dishwasher load, I won't do it. I'll just grab some ground beef, throw it in a frying pan, make a couple of burger patties. The food is important to me at this stage in my journey, but it's not that important. I almost don't care what I eat. I could eat anything and I'm perfectly happy. Food is not the main event anymore. The addictions are gone. Oftentimes, there's nothing in my refrigerator. I have maybe 1 pound of burger just thawing, or a steak, or a piece of fish. I don't care. I don't have like the urges. Oh man, I gotta have this today. I gotta have that today. I haven't had chicken wings in a while. I need no. Oh, where I need some food. I don't even need some food. I might want some food. Are you hungry, Mitch? Well, I could eat. That's it. That's about as hungry as I get. I could eat. So, one of my favorite foods is bacon, and that's why pork belly had the appeal. So, yesterday, I grabbed my camera, going to make my second meal of the day, set everything up, turn all the lights on, put the microphone on, start recording. I had cut this slab of pork belly up into 1 big and 2 little pieces, and the 2 little pieces were basically enough for a small meal, but for experimenting. I said, okay, I'm going to try to make these cubes, these little pork belly bites with this 1 piece. I had dry brined it, which means I put salt on it, set in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. I got my air fryer out. I looked at many different recipes and figured, well, it's got to be about 400 degrees. And the timing was all over the place. So I figured, well, we'll just start it out maybe 15 minutes and check the temperature. And I threw no seasoning, no rubs, no sugar, no molasses, no brown butter, no all the other crap people put on meat, because for some reason they try to disguise the taste of the meat. And I went ahead and I put them in the air fryer and came back after 15 minutes. Checked the temperature. They were already at 200 degrees. They looked horrible. They looked horrible. Some of the chunks were pure fat. Some were all meat. It wasn't a part of the belly that was layered like bacon. So I learned one lesson. And that lesson was pork belly's only going to be great if you're using the flat part that they would have cut into bacon. So when you buy this pork belly, Mitch, if you're going to make these things, just like a brisket or anything else, at least for my taste, I learned. Remember, I knew nothing about pork belly other than that's how bacon starts its life. So I learned that lesson. Trim it until you get a flat that has the layered fat and the layered meat. Then maybe you stand a chance of having a cube retain the shape of a cube and not look like some kind of dog food after it twists and shrivels up. And I said, well, they look horrible. I couldn't imagine putting this on a plate and actually serving it to anybody. Maybe they taste great, so let me taste it. And they were terrible. They were overcooked, dry as hell, ugly to look at. The worst thing, and I've had some cooking failures, and the camera's running. And you know these parts of the video where I say, and now the taste that, well, I did that. And I'm going to be honest about this. That's why you experiment. It's a shame that scientists don't approach studies, especially agendized ones who work for drug companies, don't approach their studies with a willingness to accept failure and not try to hide it and try to make everything appear to be a success. Every one of the recipe videos I put out is the result of me trying a few different ways and finding one that's really fabulous. Whether you know it or not, I know what this is going to taste like before I put it in my mouth at the end of all those videos. And when I say this is delicious, I'm not acting. It really is. And all of you back me up. Every one of those recipes, I don't do too many. Everybody who makes it raves about it. The salmon cakes, the frittatas, my bacon meatloaf, my pork rind breaded and fried in bacon fat stuff. Those things I've experimented. I never, ever, I videotape all the experiments, but I never, ever publish it. So last night on a private community, I told people, well, I did my first pork rind experiment. It came out horrible, so I'm not going to publish it. And they all just jumped up and down. Publish it. We want to see it. We want to learn what not to do. And I say, well, maybe you got a point there. So this afternoon, after all that buildup, I'm going to publish my failure. I'm going to publish it as a failure. What not to do with a pork belly. And hopefully that can be educational. So before last night, I had no idea what video I was going to publish this afternoon, and now I do. So look for that a little later, sometime between 2:30 and 3 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon. It's not a long video, but you'll see what a thumbs down looks like from Mitch. I had a couple other things on my mind that I wanted to talk about this morning, but again, these are going to be random, just random things, little morning coffee get-together. I'm glad you all enjoy them. I enjoy doing them. It gives me a chance to start my day off, relax a little bit, talk to my friends, and contemplate what I might do with the rest of my day. And no live streams today. Do have a live stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. so that those of you in Europe don't have to miss it because it's in the middle of the night for you. I was asked last night to do more live streams. I'm doing 3 a week now, and they're 2 hours apiece. So that's 6 hours of live streaming a week. And I said I had been contemplating doing a pop-up live stream now and then, like some others do. Ken Berry does them. Sean Baker does them. Generally question and answer ones. And I'm not answering those individual personal medical questions. So our live streams are completely different. But I may do that. And you'll get when I pop up live, it'll pop up. And if you're there and paying attention, you can jump on it. I don't imagine they'll get the number of views of the participation that the pre-planned ones that are coming do. But I'll have to try that. I did try that when I was at the Keto Summit in Orlando in the parking lot with a folding chair and my cigar. I grabbed my cell phone and I just went live, and I got quite a few people to come in, and it was okay. So I may try that, or maybe I'll schedule another live stream at a time when I think it might have the best chance of having the most people attend. Because why do those things if nobody's going to watch them and nobody's going to watch the replay? Or even worse, you really got nothing to talk about because you've been talking nonstop for an entire week, which seems like what I do. Anyway, that's enough for today. That's enough for this morning. Let me finish this huge cup of coffee that I got here. Go to work editing and getting this out. It does seem that around 11 Eastern is proving to be the best time to release this. That's it. Go away. We're done. I'm going to relight my cigar. Stick around if you'd like. So I can end on a little happy music, hopefully cheer you up so that you all have a great day while you're taking the rest of the day off and eating all that meat.